Hey woodworkers. So I've got a bit of a unique challenge which I thought I would share with you. So I'm building out a piece that has these hand-cut dovetails, and so part of the process is that I need to transfer the tails to what will be the pin board. But how to hold something like this and then the corresponding board that is going to be where the pins go gets a little funky the wider it gets. A lot of vices, you can't see this one, but a lot of front vices are kind of awkward and short. And I don't have a lot of clearance here to feed the board into. If I had a shoulder vise, that would probably work fine, but I don't because I generally despise them. But what I'm going to show you is another option here. So I've got a Moxon vise here, and Moxon vises are amazing, and every woodworker should have one. But I made this one. I made it this size to accommodate wider boards for this very purpose. There are times when I need to get in and cut dovetails, and this is the way I need to do it. So what I've done is, this is going to be the corresponding piece to that first tail board. I labeled this left side, left side. So I'm going to feed this into this vise, and I'll clamp this thing down and hold it into place. Now there's a couple things that are pretty great about this. Number one, I've got crazy pressure on this, which is good. The other thing is that over time, this thing, even though I've stickered it, I've been trying to protect it and take care of it, it started to develop a bit of a cup. Small cup, but a cup nevertheless. So with this process here, by clamping it together, it will flatten out the board, so transferring tails to pins now becomes less of a challenge. The issue is going to become when I try to set my tail board into place and holding this large, somewhat awkward board into position here while I can transfer these things without having this board slide, which is about as much fun as you can imagine. So, alright, so I need to set up my pin board to the height of this block. This block is going to start making sense here shortly. So, loosening up these guys. If you are ever inclined to make a Moxon vise, I strongly encourage you to use Acme threads if possible. I used a more of a standard pitch thread here, and it just takes forever to clamp these things down. And so I wish I had gone with the Acme thread. So please learn from my mistake. Alright. Alignments, everything here. Alright. Perfect. Alright. Alright, so locking this thing in. Alright, so this is at the height where I want it to be. The reason that is important is because I'm going to use this block as my stabilizing piece. Yeah, that feels right. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I need to remember I'm talking to people, not just doing work here. Alright, so clamping this guy on, I think you start to see where I was going with this. Oops, I might have made this a little too short. No, you're good, that'll work. Oops. Alright, cool. So, now that I have these two pieces in place, I can start to set this one up, grab my marking knife, get in here and start squaring these things off. What I'm going to try to do is I need to slide this block over just a touch more. This one's a little bit off center, so I'm just barely grabbing a hold of this one, but I'll slide it over this way. The other thing I'm going to do is align this face with where the shoulder line of my tails are going to go. By bringing this piece out, in essence, when I line these up, it will establish a perfect alignment here for the end of my tailboard to the face of my pinboard. And it's just one more, let me rephrase it, it's one less thing to have to fool with when I'm trying to lay these things out. So once I've got this down, then it's half of the battle. The other thing I'll probably end up doing is measuring this dimension from the end of this board to the top of the bench, and I'll be able to cut a little block out here, which I think you probably can't see, but to just support this in the back. Because again, I'm going to be focusing on just getting these transferred correctly, and if I can worry about one less thing or have to balance one less thing, I just think that is an opportunity for me to succeed with this. So, alright, let me get that set up and start laying these things out. I'll start recording once I've got a little further along.